Today on All Things 80s, trying out the CRISPS potato chips from my childhood. Welcome back to All Things 80s. Now, as I find myself back in the UK where I grew up, I thought it would be quite an interesting trip down memory lane to see how many of the old I'm going to say CRISPS potato chips. I've been calling it potato chips for the last 20 years, but since I'm here, they're going to be called CRISPS. So, like I said, trying to find all the old CRISPS I used to enjoy as a young lad, and I've managed to find a pretty decent assortment of the old classics. So I'm just going to go through these, give them a taste, see if they are as they were, and just give you my comments. Now, one thing I will say is, these bags are all absolutely tiny compared to how I remember them, and this is not a case of me thinking back with child-sized hands and talking to you today with adult hands. These are definitely much, much smaller than they used to be. So I guess we'll start over here. Ringo's by Golden Wonder. Now, when I was a young lad, there were really only two major brands of crisps. There was Golden Wonder and there was KP, and to a lesser extent we had Smith's and I believe Tudor, but Ringo's are one that I used to enjoy, and these are cheese and onion. So let's see. They look just like they did back in the 80s. Oh, texture and flavour is exactly as I remember it. Ringo's, excellent. And they also come in other flavours, salt and vinegar, not sure what else. Next up, how to do this. Okay, like I said, Golden Wonder were one of two major brands back then. Glad to see they're still in existence. This is no it's not. This is tomato ketchup. Hey, anyway. Smells the same. How does it taste? Spot on. The flavour and texture are exactly the same as they were like 35 years ago. Excellent. One thing I've noticed is when I was a young boy, all the crisps, all the packets had the window that you could see inside and you could see what you were getting. All of these, I guess they've realised that light can impact the flavour and whatnot. But like I said, I really enjoyed the fact that in the 80s you could see what you were getting. Anyway, on to the next one, Skips. Now this was the brand that I'd mentioned, KP, but this just says Skips, where a lot of these don't actually have the name of the manufacturer on them. Does it say anything here? They do have a mailing address, and it is KP Snacks Limited, but it doesn't say, because they used to be called KP Skips. Anyway, excuse me. Sorry. Now these were interesting because these were, prawn cocktail, which in America, what would that be? Prawns with mayo and some paprika? I don't know. Yep. Oh, the smell is exactly as I remember. A little bit fishy, but not overwhelming. And the skip itself. Yes. As you were. Excellent. Fantastic. Hasn't changed a bit. Let's go this side this time. Yeah. Space Raiders. I remember these simply because the packet was so cool. And if I remember rightly, we should have alien-shaped, like corn puff type things. Wow, that's strong, a lot of vinegar. So these are pickled onion flavour. And as promised, we have the alien. Yep. And they still call it a corn snack, which is what it was called then because we had potato crisps, and there were corn snacks, and the two were different, but still sort of packaged as the same thing. Yeah, I love these. Excellent. Moving on. Try a different flavour of something. Ah, yes. Monster Munch. These were one of my absolute favourites. This one happens to be roast beef flavour. We will get to my ultimate favourite shortly, which is pickled onion. But first of all, like I said, I'm disappointed at the size of the bags. They're tiny. Anyway, these were like, again, this was, did it say corn snack? Yep, roast beef flavoured baked corn snack. Now these were shaped like weird monster faces. I think it should be this kind of shape. Oh my god. Now they do say that your sense of smell is one of the senses that are the most vivid in terms of memory, and like I've not had this stuff in probably 30 some years, but the smell is exactly as I remember it. And lo and behold, actually no, this is yeah, I remember now, this is trying to replicate the feet of the monster, but even this itself looks small. Who knows? Does it taste good? Yep. Tastes exactly as it did when I was a lad. Time for something cheesy, I think. Now this, cheese Wotsits. I never really liked these as a child. I'll quickly tell you why. It must have been, well, I was in primary 2, which must have been 1981, and the crisps at the time, well, they weren't made by Walkers. Walkers is fairly recent, I believe, but it might have been Golden Wonder. We're doing a promotion where if you collected a certain number of used packets, you could send them off, and they would mail you these World Wildlife Foundation pin badges. And I remember one guy was a couple of years older than me. He managed to acquire a bunch of these badges and was offering trades for used bags. And at the time I was oblivious to the fact that by collecting the bags myself and sending them off, I would get badges anyway. So I figured, oh wow, we can get a badge right now. And I remember the guy was eating cheese Wotsits while showing off the badges he had for offer. But whilst eating his cheese Wotsits, he picked at his belly button, and that image stuck with me. And after that, I could not eat cheese Wotsits again. So this I can say will be my first cheese Wotsit since standing in the playground in primary 2. It must have been in fact it might be 1980. 80 or 81, so long time. very little smell, but first things first, these are tiny and they're curled. Nope, this is not right. They used to be like a straight oblong shape. They were definitely never curled like this, and they were much, much thicker. It's actually not bad. I tend to shy away from orange coloured things. I just don't like the idea where your fingers get completely orange and looks disgusting, but yeah, texture is the same. Appearance is completely wrong and size is off, but yeah, I'm probably the last person to comment on cheese Wotsits because I haven't had these since primary 2. Okay, cheese and onion, no, salt and vinegar. Hula Hoops, always a classic. And these are potato rings, so these are not corn snacks. I only seem to recall Hula Hoops coming in regular plain flavour. There was a beef flavour and these salt and vinegar. Whew, that's strong. But yeah, image wise, it's correct. Texture is correct. Excellent. Happy with those. Now, so that was vinegar. Let's do, yes. Smith's Bacon Frazzles. These were, well, first of all, it's nice to see the Smith's logo. I haven't seen that in decades. But also, these were cool in that they actually looked like rashers of bacon. So hopefully that's going to be the same. Oh yes, wow. Damn, that is such a flashback. And yeah, they do look the same. Although, I'm assuming it's dye they use to give it this sort of bacon colour. And there's a lot less of it than I remember. In fact, let me eat this one first. Texture and flavour is as it was. You see, this one's got slightly more of the sort of beef, or the pork meat content. Wow, that makes me happy. Wow. Takes me right back. Now, what we're left with. Okay. This is the weird one. And I see it's made by Walkers, which you may recognize the logo as looking like that of Lay in America. These were, I think they were made by Smiths. Don't hold me to that. But this was such a weird concept. Salt and shake, what does that mean? Well, what it means is, this is a packet of unsalted crisps. However, it does contain a little, well, I'm hoping it's a blue sachet of salt. And if I remember, you always had a gamble with these because quality control back then isn't what it is now, and there's a very good chance you would get a packet of these and it would be missing the little sachet of salt. And on the other hand, you would open a packet of these and find 2 or 3 sachets of salt. Let's see what they got for us today. And I see it, and it is in fact, yes, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same as it was. That's amazing. That little blue sachet. So anyway, these are unsalted crisps, and I remember they didn't taste that bad unsalted. Okay. It's all right. It's a bit bland. However, you open this. Oops. Pour in the salt, and as the name suggests, you give it a good shake. And it's really hard because the bag is so small, but and now, what do we have? I mean, let's be honest, it's a complete novelty, because once you've done the salt and shake, what you have is a packet of regular, plain, ready salted crisps. But it was fun as a kid, it really was. Moving on. Let's do Discos. I remember when these came out, it was, I'm guessing 80, 81, because we were still in a time where the disco craze of the late 70s was still, it was still there. It wasn't as prevalent as it was at its peak, but it was still going on, and they offered us these crisps called Discos. Cheese and onion, I remember salt and vinegar, and I do remember plain ready salted. This one is cheese and onion. So, and this is, it doesn't say, but I'm assuming it's not a corn snack. I don't think it was. In fact, if I remember rightly, the texture was not that far removed from Pringles. But anyway, let's go. Yeah, you can see, I mean, it says disco, but it's more of a, it's like a tortilla chip shape. I see one. Here's a perfect. There we go. There's a disco. And I don't know if you can see that, but the texture does remind me of Pringles. Wow, very strong flavor. And I'm just trying to, the texture doesn't seem right to me. Now, bearing in mind we are talking 35 years since I've had these, but no. This one's been a disappointment. This was not how I remembered it. Maybe my memory, but who knows. Okay, that was cheese and onion. Let's do that. Again, I remember these being made by Smiths, not Walkers. Well, Walkers wasn't even around when I was a child. But I'm sure that it's odd that we had something that was made by Smiths. Yeah. Smiths Frazzles. So why are Walkers now doing squares? Who knows? Salt and vinegar, squares crunchy. Don't remember the crunchy part being on the packaging. You know what? That was a strong cheese and onion from that disco. Oof, yeah. Very strong vinegar flavour. And this doesn't look right either. This is way too thick. Oof. No, that's completely different. One more, because yeah, it just looks wrong. Could be that they've changed the formula because they're now calling it Squares Crunchy. They were never that crunchy as a child. In fact, they were rather thin. No, this is wrong. Bit of a disappointment. Cheese Quavers. Another one that Walkers are doing now that, like I said, Walkers were not around when I was a kid, so. Quavers, I'm going to say KP made them when I was a kid. Don't know for sure. But this is a great throwback for me because I loved Quavers. Because they were cheesy, but they weren't orange cheesy. Yeah, smells the same. And obviously it's smaller than I remember, but it looks the same. And it feels the same. Nicely done. And last of all, one of my all-time favourites as a child, Pickled Onion Monster Munch. My mum and dad hated these. They thought they smelled terrible and they looked ridiculous, and they were right. But this was probably my favourite, or one of my top 3 anyway. So this one I'm particularly excited to try. This one says huge chunks of pickled onion flavoured baked corn snack. It says Mega Monster Munch. I don't know what that means. But this should be the best of the bunch. Oh yes, this is the same shape as the other one, right? This was the feet. I'm almost certain the different flavors had a different shape of snack in them. I don't care about the shape, I care about the taste. That's the flavor. Everything is exactly as I remember. The texture, the flavor. Oh man. What a treat. Wow. Anyway, that was a trip down memory lane. Looking back at the old crisps I used to love back in the 80s. So I hope you enjoyed watching this. And if you did, please do like, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next video where we talk about all things 80s. Bye bye.